Hi, my name's Adam Richardson, developer of the Nephtali web framework. In this screencast, we're going to wire up a simple contact form for the Fabula Coffee website. We've already installed Nephtali on this website, and so we're just going to jump right in. Here you see the example contact form. I've just put together some quick markup for a very simple contact form. It just has a name field, an email field, a website field, and a message field. All the fields are required except for website. Let's jump over to Dreamweaver, which I already have configured for this website. And you'll see here's the markup for the form. I'm going to put in some additional markup for a section of the page that Nephtali is going to control in terms of rendering. I'm going to copy and paste it in just to save time. Here you see a pipe region in the page. The pipe is called message, and the pipe has several different views. First and foremost, it has an error view. We have to have an error view for every pipe in Nephtali. Other than that, though, all of the other views are completely up to you in terms of naming. That said, there is a convention to use the view name feedback for a view that displays any information on an invalid form field. So if someone entered an invalid email address, that would show up in this region here on the page. And then we have, in this case, we'll just call it send, the view that will be displayed if the message is sent successfully. So with this in place, let's go generate some PHP. I'm going to jump over to Safari again, and we'll just see what that renders. We see those regions now show up. We're going to, once we've set up Nephtali, be able to control those regions. First I'm going to enter the ports. They'll handle the validation of the form field data. We have a name field, and we'll set that to text. You only need a 50 character max for that, we'll say, though. And I'll use the defaults for the rest. We also have an email field. That's also post. And that's email. We'll use the defaults there. We also have website. In this case, this field we were not going to require. It would be optional. So I'm gonna change the minimum length from 1 to 0, essentially making it optional. And I'll add that. And last, we're adding the message port, which will validate the message form field. And this has to be multi-line text because there can be carriage returns in that. Use the defaults. With those in place, we can now add a pipe. We called it, if you remember in the markup, message. So let's type that in, and we'll make it an action pipe, a special type of pipe which renders views according to which ports are present in a request. In this case, I'll add an action called send, and that action will only be carried out if name, email, website, and message are all present on a particular request. And you see that's added down here. So I'm going to add that pipe, and with this in place, we can go grab this template of code and use that in our Nephtali code behind file. Of note, the file we're working in, Contact Us with the markup at least, is right here in the file viewer, and it's at the root level of public HTML. So to wire that page up, we make sure there's a file at the root level of nSite called contactus.php, and I've already set one up just to speed this up, and I'm just going to paste in the code from Nedit. Now you'll see by default, just tossed in some generic SQL code there. We don't need that in this case. Actually, we're going to be sending an email. And I have some code here already worked up for that. I'm going to just paste that in. The code just works through developing a message variable by adding the name and value of the ports used in this particular request, which were name, email, website, and message. And you'll see we're just using the PHP mail function. So I'm going to save this, upload it, and when I return to the Contact Us page and refresh it, you'll notice that all of those views are now gone. The default display for an action pipe is nothing. It'll only show a view if it's triggered by the presence of particular ports, which again validate get, post, cookie, or file data. So let's give it something to validate. Let's try submitting this form. This shouldn't work, and it doesn't because there are some required fields, and it says we're seeing the default error messages here for name, email, and message. Let's try some real data. I'll just say my name is me, tester, there we go. I'll just use that email address. Website I'll leave blank because that's optional. For message, I'll say this coffee is great. And I'm going to submit it. And there we go. We see it succeeded. We're actually seeing what we had put in the markup as the send view. Thank you for contacting us. So, and just to make sure, let's test this view by throwing an exception in here. Let's see what happens. I'm going to upload this. And just put in some quick values for the fields, and there we go. We threw an exception, and that was automatically handled. We didn't have to put in any explicit code in Nephtali. It automatically displays the error view. Now, let's see if we actually received the message. I've got my account open here, and let me view that most recent message, and here we go. I had put in the name is me, the email address tester@test.com, website I left blank, and message this coffee is great. So there you have it. Wiring up a contact form using Nephtali is pretty easy. In a future screencast, we're actually going to walk you through how to use all of this server-side validation code we have in place to make a very nice client-side display for users so they have a much better user experience. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy using Nephtali.